Good evening, and welcome to Global Technology Tech 5173-00. Very good. We're going to have fun today. We have two-part class. The first part will be with our guest speakers, two of my friends who are going to talk with us about a surprise topic. They sent me an email and said, "Did you tell your students about the topic we're going to talk about?" I said, "No." They said, "Okay, we'll have it a surprise." Before we start, I want to ask how many of you know the word bless, to bless or bless? If you know it, wave at me, bless. Very good. How many of you know the word bliss? Bliss. B-L-I-S-S. Not very much like the bless. Bless means blessing. And bliss means what? Very good. I see somebody here and said the head like happiness or something like that. Right. And I'm going to add to this that I saw it in the dictionary, extreme happiness. A very high bliss. I mean, it's a very high caliber of happiness. But guess what? Keith Bliss is here, and he will tell us something more about the bliss that he has. He lived with the name for his life, I guess. And I have to my right-hand side here my dear friend Pete Grant. Whenever you go to my channel in YouTube, say thank you to Pete Grant. He is the one who started it for me many years ago, and he and his staff did a marvelous job. You name it. I mean, I sometimes feel guilty. I overworked them with symposia and this and that. Just look at what they did, especially for this class. They would come and tape and stay after hours, and they go and edit from year to year with a smile. Would you please give them a warm welcome?
Thank you, Wafeek. So as Wafeek said, I've known Wafeek actually since about 2003. I worked at EIU from 2003 to 2016, and Wafeek kept my staff very, very busy filming from probably 2006 to 2016, just about every class and guest presenter that he had. So we developed his YouTube channel and filled it up, and I guess it's a big hit according to Wafeek. But Wafeek, thank you for your kind words. So the format that Keith and I want to use tonight, we want to use kind of a loose format. We don't want to stand up here and lecture to you guys. We want to have a discussion with you and some interactivity. So I'm going to start off, and we're just going to go through a couple of slides, and then I'm going to let Keith introduce himself. So I want to start off and talk about, get you thinking about change. I think you would agree with me that it seems like every time you interact with some kind of media, whether it's online, newspaper, watching Fox News, CNN, NBC, whatever, that there's an awful lot of things going on. There's a lot of change. And I would even throw the word disruption in there because it seems like there's a lot of change taking place in terms of disrupting these systems that we've had in place in the world for the last 100 years. And so my purpose tonight, Keith's purpose tonight, is to come here and get you thinking about change and what it means to be an agent of change. Everybody in here has their own sphere of influence. And so you're going to influence those people who are part of your network, people that you know, your friends and your family. But what are you going to do with them? And as I was thinking about when Wafeek said, "Hey, Pete, would you come and talk to my class about technology that you're familiar with?" I said, "Sure." But you know, when we were filming for 10 years for Wafeek's classes, he always had a bunch of activities at the very end of class, the last day of the semester, whenever that was. And one of my favorite activities that Wafeek did was called Go Light Your World. And in that activity, and Wafeek, I hope I'm not giving anything away, but we were in a dark room, and I had to take the camera and film everybody lighting a candle for each other, because it seems to me that in a world of darkness, there needs to be hope. We're all beacons of light. And that philosophy of going and lighting your world and empowering and educating other people fits very well with this concept of change that Keith and I are going to talk about today. So we're here to empower you and educate you about a topic that is near and dear to us here in a few minutes. So why are you here? Believe it or not, 15 years ago, I was a student in the master's program for the School of Technology, and I sat in your seat. Now, Dr. Wahby wasn't my instructor at the time, but I still think he's a great teacher, and maybe that's why you're here, or maybe like me at the time, I didn't know what I was going to do when I left the classroom. I wasn't really sure. I didn't think about how was I going to influence the world. For me, it was a means to an end. It was about a master's degree. So maybe one of these is you. But what we want you to do is we want you to think about a big picture. How are you going to change the world when you leave this classroom? What are you going to do? And with that, since I want to have some interactivity and discussion, in the last class that we did for Wafeek, I picked on the girls first, and so now I'm going to ask a couple of men if you can just raise your hand and just share with me and Keith and the rest of the class, how are you going to change the world when you leave? Anybody want to share? Because otherwise I will call on you. Anybody want to share? Any guys? You, sir.
Me personally, just going to college to set the bar high for my daughter. I know, like, my parents never went to college, but I'm planning hopefully to set the bar, not only just go to college, but set it high. So hopefully that's going to change the trickle-down effect.